Happy morning, dear students. Welcome back to Science Online class. Children, I hope you are all doing well. In today's science section, we are going to revise lesson 1, measurement in physical science. Measurement plays a very important role in our life, isn't it, children? Measurement is involved in each and every aspect of our life. When we visit a doctor, the doctor measures our body weight and our body temperature. When we go to a market to buy vegetables, we measure the quantity of vegetables and then we buy it. And even when we go to a tailor, the tailor measures our body size before stitching our dress. And similarly, when we go to purchase a land, the area of the land is measured. So, it is very important for us to learn about measurement. So, in this session, we will be learning about the measurement of physical quantities like volume, area, density and speed. So, you know that volume is the amount of space occupied by a substance or a object, and the SI unit of volume is cubic meter. The SI unit of volume is cubic meter. So in this session we will be learning about the measurement of volume of liquids and measurement of volume of solids. So we will be discussing about how to measure a volume of a liquid as well as the volume of the solid. So in solid, again we are going to learn how to check the volume of a regular shaped solid and the irregular shaped solid. So next we are going to learn about area in this session. So you know that area is the measure of the surface area covered by an object. The surface area covered by an object is called area, and the area is denoted in SI unit as meter squares or square meter. And we will be discussing about the measurement of area of regular as well as the irregular shaped objects. When you think of regular shapes, a square or a rectangle or a triangle or a circle comes in your mind. But say there are some objects which are irregular shape. So we will be learning how to check the area of the irregular shaped object also in this session. And next we will be learning about density. So you know density is defined as the mass per unit volume. So it is also an important characteristic of a substance. So density is the amount of matter or the mass present in a unit volume of an object. So density can be measured by using the formula mass divided by volume. And the SI unit of density is kg per meter cube. And last we will be learning about speed. And speed is said to be the distance travelled in a unit time. So speed can be measured by using the formula distance divided by time. And there are certain instruments also to measure the speed. It is called as speedometer. You would have seen in the car and other vehicles, and there is also an instrument called odometer which is used to measure the distance travelled. So in this session we will be discussing about the physical quantities and how to measure these physical quantities. So children, I request everyone to watch the video till the end so that you will get to know how to measure the physical quantities like volume, area, density and speed.
So first let's see about volume. What is volume? Volume is the amount of space an object takes up, which means volume is the space occupied by an object. For example, a football occupies more space than a cricket ball. So the volume of football is greater than that of a cricket ball. And the SI unit of volume is cubic meter. First, we are going to learn about the measurement of volume of liquids. The volume of a liquid is expressed in liters and milliliters. Students, in our previous classes we have seen that liquids do not have a fixed shape, but they take the shape of the container in which they are kept. The maximum volume of liquid a container can hold is called its capacity. So capacity means the maximum amount of liquid, the maximum volume of liquid a container can hold. And the capacity has the same unit as volume, that is liters. So the volume of a liquid can be measured with the help of measuring cans of different shapes and sizes. And you must have seen such cans at a petrol bunk where they use it for measuring the petrol, diesel and kerosene, and even the cylindrical cans used by the milk vendors for measuring the milk, and in a grocery shop they use for measuring oil, and even in chemistry lab we use measuring devices of various types. Students, you can have a look at the picture of a graduated cylinder. Graduated cylinder is a glass jar that is marked in milliliter from bottom to the top. We use a graduated cylinder to measure the required amount of liquid. So all the measuring cylinders you can see in this picture, a graduated cylinder, a pipette, a burette, and the flask, the conical flask, everything we use for measuring the amount of liquid. Students, there are some measuring cylinders such as burette and pipettes which are used in the laboratory, and it is used to take the desired amount of liquid. So what you can see in this picture is a burette. A burette is a tube which is similar to a measuring jar, but it has a pitch cork which is provided at the bottom. So the blue color clamp like thing which is at the bottom is called as a pitch cork. So the burette is a glass jar which is graduated and it has a pitch cork at the bottom. Next, what you can see in the picture is the pipette. A pipette is filled by sucking liquid into it. So the pipettes and burettes are some of the measuring cylinders we use in a chemical laboratory. When liquids such as water, kerosene, petrol are filled into measuring devices, the surface of the liquid becomes curved, and this curve in the upper surface of a liquid is called as meniscus. It is also very important to correctly measure the liquid level in a measuring cylinder. So the correct reading must be taken by placing the eye at a proper level, and the devices like measuring cylinder must be kept on a flat horizontal surface for proper and accurate measurement. Figure A shows the wrong way to note the liquid level, keeping eye above the liquid level, and figure B shows the correct way to note the liquid level, keeping eye at the liquid level. So we must always keep our eye at the liquid level to note down the reading in a correct way. So we can use a measuring cylinder to measure the volume of a liquid. So next, let's see how to measure the volume of irregular shaped solids. Measurement of volume of a irregular shaped solid. If a solid is an irregular shaped object, you need to use the water displacement method to measure its volume. First, pour some water into a beaker or a graduated cylinder and record how much water you have. So you can consider this level as V1. So in this figure, you can see that V1 is 4.8 ml. Then place your object, or you can drop your object into the beaker or a graduated cylinder and record the volume of the water now. So this volume is considered to be V2, and in this picture you can see the volume of water is 5.6 ml. Volume in the second beaker is 5.6 ml. So V2 is 5.6. So the last step is to subtract the two numbers, that is V2 minus V1. So the amount of water went up is actually the volume of your object. So you can use centimeter cube as your unit to measure. So the first step in measuring the volume of an irregular shaped object is to read the volume of water before dropping in the object, and this reading is considered to be V1, and the step 2 is to read the volume of water after dropping in the object, and this reading is considered to be V2, and the step 3 is to determine the volume of the object by subtracting V2 minus V1. So, the volume of an irregular shaped solid can be calculated by subtracting V2 minus V1. So this method of water displacement can be used to measure the volume of a irregular shaped solid. Next, let's see the measurement of regular shaped solids like cylinder, sphere, cone, cube and cuboid. We use formulas to measure the volume of regular shaped solids. So, the volume of a cuboid can be measured by using the formula length into breadth into h, whereas the volume of cube can be measured by using the formula side into side into side. The volume of cone can be measured by using the formula 1 by 3 pi r square h, and volume of sphere can be measured by using the formula 4 by 3 pi r cube, and volume of cylinder can be measured by using the formula pi r square h. So these are the formulas you must remember in order to measure the volume of regular shaped solids. We have discussed about the measurement of volume of liquid and measurement of volume of regular and irregular shaped solids. Next, let's see about area. What is area? Area is the measure of the surface covered by an object, and the SI unit of area is meter square or square meter. To measure bigger area, we use bigger units of measurement like acre, hectare and square kilometer. But to measure a smaller area, we use smaller units of measurements like square centimeter and square millimeter. First, let's see how to measure the area of regular shaped objects like square, triangle and rectangle. So, the square can be measured, the area of a square can be measured by the formula A square. Area of a rectangle can be measured by using a formula length into breadth, and the area of a circle can be measured by the formula pi r square, and the area of a triangle can be measured by the formula half into base into height. So children, we use formulas to measure the area of regular shapes like square, rectangle, triangle and circle. Next, let's see how to measure the area of irregular figures. Estimate the area of the figure. So first step is to count the number of filled squares, and next step is to count the number of half filled squares. So in this picture, in this example, there are 11 red color squares which are fully filled, and there are 8 green squares which are half filled. The third step is you have to add the number of squares which are fully filled plus half the number of half filled squares, which means, so totally there are 11 squares which are fully filled. So you have to add 11 plus half the squares that are half filled. So half into 8, so which gives you 4. So 11 plus 4 is equal to 15. So the area of the figure is about 15 yard square. So by using this method, you can estimate the area of an irregular shaped figure by adding the number of filled squares plus half the number of half filled squares. Next, let's see what is density. Density is a comparison of how much matter there is in a certain amount of space. So it can be even set as the composition of matter in a space. So density is defined as its mass per unit volume. So mass is amount of matter in a substance. So mass per unit volume is density. So the symbol is rho. SI unit is kilogram per cubic meter. So the SI unit of density is kilogram per cubic meter, and another commonly used unit is gram per cubic meter. So from the definition, density of the substance can be calculated by using the formula mass divided by volume, which can be said as rho is equal to m divided by v. In this formula, rho stands for density, m for mass and v for volume. So from this formula, density is equal to mass by volume, we can derive that mass is equal to density into volume, and volume is equal to mass divided by density. We have seen about the measurement of density. Next, let's see about speed. Speed is the distance an object traveled in a specific amount of time. We use the term speed to explain how fast an object is going. So, when we want to describe how fast an object is going, we use the term speed. So, speed can be calculated by using the formula distance divided by time. So the speed of the car is calculated by measuring the distance traveled by the car per unit time. And speedometer is the instrument we use for measuring the speed of a vehicle. So children, we have learned that speed is equal to distance by time. So from this formula we can derive the formula to find out the distance, which is equal to speed into time. To summarize, in this session we have seen about the measurement of physical quantities like volume, area, density and speed, and we have learnt about the measurement of volume of liquid, volume of regular shaped solids and volume of irregular shaped solids, and also we have discussed about the measurement of area of regular shaped figures and irregular shaped figures, and also about the measurement of density and speed. So children, I believe you must have understood the lesson and you can complete your classwork by copying the notes. Thank you children. Have a nice day.